Good morning, and welcome to a very, very special edition of the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast. I have stand-up comedian, social media influencer, amazing dancer, and great human being, by the way, and very good at providing accommodations to out-of-town comedian guests, Elisabeth Wykert. Thank you so much for being on the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast. Was that?
I like to applaud for myself.
Yeah, you did. Well, sometimes as comedians, that's the only one applauding is ourselves. And usually not even then. Usually we're our worst hecklers. So thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. I'm in Kansas City right now, Missouri. Kansas City, Missouri.
Well, you're in St. Joseph.
I'm in St. Joseph, right.
But Kansas City is the place.
Thank you. Thank you for the correction.
I can watch me get on stage tomorrow and be like, I'm in Kansas City, and everyone's like, no.
I don't think anybody, like, if you were in Chandler and you said, hey, love being here in Phoenix, I don't think it'd be like, eh.
Oh, they wouldn't?
No.
Oh, I feel like I would have been offended people.
Oh, no. Maybe we're more easygoing in Arizona than...
Sunshine year round to that too. We have seasonal depression here. Our weather is like our people, bipolar, okay?
It's like, you have any much how much snow we got here? You're getting the city right.
Hey, you don't understand. It snowed last week. Now it's in the 70s. It's going to be like 35 on Wednesday. It's going 70, 73, 79, 35. That's the weather.
Okay. Yeah.
We're a little bitter about things.
Well, us, it goes like 80 degrees, 90 degrees, 120 degrees, 120 degrees, 118 degrees, 120 degrees, 120 degrees, and then 80 degrees, and then we're all wearing jackets and moon boots. It's 80 degrees and just freezing out there.
Like, where's my Ugg boots? It's too cold in this desert.
Well, thank you so much after that little intro. So, I talk about this podcast. It's a podcast by a dreamer for dreamers. I love talking about people out there going for their dreams, how they got there, what they're learning on the way, their origin story. And I would love, I know a little bit, but I would love for you to talk about your origin story, what your dream was, how you got into doing these incredible social media videos, which go crazy successful. They're so much fun. And let's start there.
That's a lot.
Yeah. If you could wrap it up in about 2 hours, that's about...
It was a cold, dark, stormy night in the small city of Union Star.
Was it Union Star, which was not near Kansas City? No.
But Kansas City is the closest relative city that anybody knows about, so we call it that.
And anywhere else in the country, you could say the major city nearby, but not here.
Not in the
They demand...
snow.
There's too much snow. They require specificity.
It's very different here. Well, when I was a kid, I would always say I either wanted to be a singer, an actress, or a lawyer, or a singing actress playing a lawyer.
He's guilty.
And then one day, while watching Crazy Ex-Girlfriends, starring Rachel Bloom, a show I love.
I love that show.
I was like, holy shit, she is a singing actress playing a lawyer.
West Covina, California. We weren't quite in tune there, but we'll work on it.
I'm a little out of it.
We'll work on it. Nasal. Okay.
But yeah, I always wanted to like kind of do entertainment. I was always entertaining my family, and
right.
I feature these videos in my show, and I feature them like on my birthday and stuff. But since I was 3 years old, in town at the mall that used to be cool, now it's just a ghost town, but it looks really nice, but it's a ghost town.
Mm-hmm.
They would put on these things called Fun Flicks, and they had a green screen, and you got to lip sync to a song and do a music video.
Way.
Yeah, so
okay.
I started doing that at the age of 3. And I did it until I think I was 12 was whenever I stopped. I think they stopped it then. And it was based off of back to school shopping. So if you spent so much money in the mall, you got to do a free video or amount of videos, or you could pay outright. But like being the poor kid, that was something my parents could do for us. And so it was just always a thing. And I always wanted to entertain, but I never wanted to go into entertainment. I was like, oh, I wanted to be a psychiatrist. So I went into school for that. And then I switched to accounting for like one semester and was like, that is not for me.
And you're like, good thing I have a therapy degree or one year of a therapy degree to get me through that.
2, okay.
2, yeah.
I was like a minor in psychology at that point. And I switched to communications. Nice, nice standard degree. Emphasis on public speaking. So I am using my degree.
A little bit.
A little bit. I'm using it in a circumstance.
If by public speaking you mean public dancing.
I really don't speak in my videos. I'm gonna be real.
This.
I'm speaking for my whole body, which is covered in school. It is not just your vocal.
Did you know that 92% of communication is nonverbal? So, yeah.
It sounds like you're also a communications major.
Actually, I did take a class. But I learned it all in one class. I didn't need 4 years.
You didn't take that kind of classes.
Yeah. What kind of classes did you take?
One was... It was the best name for a class.
Free massages? That sounds like the best name for a class.
To me to laugh right into the mic.
That's fine. That's okay. It's got a governor on there. Hello, my name. Let's do the whole interview like this. Hello, I'm so glad that you are here on the podcast. I would really like to hear more about your story.
The class was the principles in oral performance.
Elisabeth, you are a mother.
It was like something like that, where it was a double entendre. It was my favorite.
Principles in oral performance.
Something like that. It had oral in the word in the thing.
Every year, like 40 porn stars sign up for that with the totally wrong idea.
And it was an advanced class.
Oh, of course.
Stackhouse. That was
oral performance. Let's be honest. That ain't for beginners.
Stackhouse was my favorite teacher at UMKC. That was like that. It was such a good class. And he would always make a joke about it. He's like, I'm surprised they haven't made me change it. But he goes, I think they don't understand.
No.
But that's the whole point of oral and communication.
Yeah.
Is that it has these double entendres within words within words, behind meanings, underneath, and the layers peeling back like an onion.
Sounded so beat poetry, like words I speak, they flow, they do not flow back in, they flow out. Once their ripples affect through the sea of time, all ears that hear are then affected, and the ripple goes on through eternity.
Ching, ching, ching.
Oral principle fixations. Is that a glockenspiel?
That's what I was going for.
I've never seen a glockenspiel at a beat poetry. That's...
What kind of beat poetries are you not going to?
The non-glockenspiel kind? Just the snaps.
Just the snaps.
Mine literally has a sign, snaps only, no glockenspiels.
What about pearl snaps?
So, you're a communications major. I'm feeling this is going to take a long time for us to get through this story.
Both our brains are always right on track.
Yeah.
We always stay on top.
We're like wizards. We're never on time, but we do show up precisely when we intend to.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so you're jumping around majors. You were an entertainment professional at the mall in front of the green screen.
I was touring malls at this point.
Touring malls. Hey, man, I have 0 malls on my tour. Here I am doing casinos like a schlub. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, that's funny that you say that, because I just like had a light bulb moment where I was like, as a kid growing up, I would, because that was a big thing in the 90s, you toured malls, and I would see that and I'd be like, man, I wish I could do that. So there's always a part of me that wanted to entertain, but I did do it. Look at me, I didn't even realize it.
You not only did do it, you're doing it.
I'm doing it
right now.
All malls for hire.
So how do we go from jumping degrees
to this
to whatever this is to convulsions to getting tased by a police officer?
That's a common comment. Yeah. That's tased.
Okay.
I'm so glad that it's here right in my face. Thank you.
Yeah. So we had a whole discussion about mic placement before. Okay. So bring him to speed. Okay, so communications, it was in your blood. You're trying to do the legit career.
I wanted a life. I thought I wanted.
You wanted a life?
I thought I wanted the corporate life. That was all I wanted. I grew up poor, so I just wanted stability, where it's like
some money coming in,
9 to 5, get vacation, a good place that respects you, and that's like, I mean, that's funny, but like, but that's all I wanted. And then it didn't happen, and it kept not happening because I graduated in 2011. So, and every time I'd ask, like, why didn't I get the job? And they're like, somebody more qualified, and I'm like, it's an entry level position.
How could you be more qualified for entry level?
But it was like all the people who were still residual from 2008, just like snapping it up. And then in 2013, me and my husband moved out to California for me to just try acting, take some acting classes.
Heck yeah.
And I immediately fell in love. I fell in love before we even moved out there. I audited a class, and I was like, this is where I belong.
What class did you audit?
Aaron Spicer Acting Studio. It's now the Spicer Sturgis Acting Studio. But Aaron Spicer is the acting coach for Will Smith and Jennifer Lopez.
I remember that name because I think I looked up one of his classes once, and it was like $87,000 for like an audit or something.
Oh, no. Their audits are free. And I think they might be $30 audit.
Maybe it was just $87,000 for me.
Oh, no.
I think
they're like, can you keep that out?
I think their website had some cookies tracking where Paul Green is looking.
Where I will stay with that acting class because I stayed there for so long, and I still love them so much. They are affordable considering like all of LA classes and for the repertoire that they have. So
okay, well maybe I'm thinking of something else. I do remember visiting that website, and he was like interviewing Will Smith and talking about the one where he's like the last man alive with the zombies.
Oh yeah,
I Am Legend.
Yeah, I Am Legend. That's me. I always said like when the coronavirus hit, I would be the last one standing.
Yeah.
I'd never get it.
And you were like, I have the cure. And you'd have the vial if they would only listen.
Come here, dog. Okay.
Oh, that just reminded me when he had to kill his dog because he got bit by the zombie people.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring that up. They're having I Am Legend 2 now.
And it was so believable because Will Smith is such a good actor thanks to the acting coach who you were studying with. Exactly. So did you actually get to take classes from him, or is the type of thing where only his lackeys do it? Oh, very cool.
He actually, for a while, because of how like the stuff he did some of the beginner ones because of like lapse in teachers and stuff and everything. Yeah, he does not have like any sort of, he's very humble, I guess you should say. Yeah. And he just loved helping new people. And so that's why like he's a little older now, and he only keeps on, from what I understand, Will Smith and J-Lo, because those were like his beginners.
Right.
But he enjoys like in the class part because he likes seeing that young, ambitious, and hungry, like, and people trying and like coming up in it. But I took his class, I audited his class, and I fell in love with the studio. So I went to the studio, and that's where I studied most of my time in. And then while doing all of that, I found some stand up, and I've always been a big weirdo doing stuff like this all the time. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, as soon as I committed to like saying, okay, acting's the thing. That's my backup plan. I like acting. Like the other stuff didn't work. Acting's my thing.
I love how acting's the backup plan. Exactly. If this corporate job doesn't work out, I can always fall back on that acting career.
Exactly. That's what I tell people. I'm like, they're like, what's your backup plan? I'm like, no, this is it. Like, I failed at the other stuff.
Maybe a Wheaties commercial. I don't know. Maybe I'll get some residge. Get some of that envelope money they're all talking about.
36 cents a month.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, that'll help me get through the rough times.
Keeps me up and going. Pays that rent.
So this is okay. So timeline. So this is 2013.
2013 is when I moved there.
Okay. So you're still figuring out. You're married. We didn't. Really talk about that element. So when did that happen?
9909.
9909.
Yeah.
September 9th, 2009. Okay. So you were married, and then I heard 2011. So you've been married a couple of years. Husband supports you, move out to LA. You're taking acting classes from Will Smith's acting coach. No big. No big. That's why you're going to slap me in the face later. When did they teach you that class? I had to make one joke about it, all right? Can I get one? Can I have one? They won't even give me one. So anyway, so that's 2011. 2013 is where we're at. Okay, so you're married. Have you had any kids yet? Are you managing that?
My daughter was born in 2016, my older one.
Okay.
So yeah, we were out there for a few years, and then we're like, okay, I guess we'll try adding a kid to this mix, because we've been married by that point. By the time pregnancy happened, like 6 years.
Okay.
That was a good waiting period. I mean, we were still so young, so It's like, we were in no rush, but then she came along.
Then she came along, and this is still in LA.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I appreciate that experience. I feel like because I hear a lot of like people in LA talk about how they want to hold off a family or whatever. Like they might have their partner and they actually do want to have children. If you don't want to have children, cool. Don't have them because they're hard enough for people who want them.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised when kids are dropped off at fire stations. Okay. No judgments here. I didn't do it. It never happened. I'm just saying I understand.
You get it. You get it.
Empathize.
Yeah.
I will never judge somebody if that's the right choice for them. So if you don't want kids, don't get them. It's a lot of work, especially if you're the woman. But I appreciated it because afterwards, like, and during the process, because I just love pregnancy and women who are pregnant. Like, I just think it's empowering. Like, I always thought it was beautiful, empowering. And so then when I was pregnant, I felt very empowered, and I was already on like my self-love journey because I had like body dysmorphia and a lot of like mental issues about my body, and I worked on that for a lot of years. And pregnancy, like, and then giving birth, because like, dude, creating life, like, it's superior species.
What's next? Life? Oh, life? I created life.
I did it.
What are you gonna do now?
Give me a planet, right?
Felt a little bit of the Mormon belief system.
I can crack the jokes, okay? Nobody else. But yeah, it was just like really empowering. Like I was definitely not the body that I had my whole life.
Sure.
And it was different, but it was wonderful and it was strong and I loved it. And then I got booked for jobs because I had this mom bod. And I was like, well, why wouldn't I love this job? It just booked me $4,500. Like,
No.
oh, yeah,
But you got $4,500 for a job?
Commercial, yeah. It was non-union too. That's what's up. That was my YoPlay commercial.
I don't think I've ever come close to $4,500 for a film shoot, and I've had some pretty big roles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, this is not about me.
Chainsaw music for one.
And it's a commercial.
Yeah.
for ice cream.
It's non-union.
An ice cream commercial where I'm chainsaw number one. That's awesome. Okay, so you're booking commercials now. You're out in LA. You got a baby. You're working through the body dysmorphia stuff. Now you're loving your female body and its power to create life. You are God and Goddess. Okay.
And then
what happened?
Yeah,
and
what happened?
Then what happened was
what happened was I mean, and I don't want to like skate over all that it was like all hunky dory. Like I remember right before I got that big commercial, I was ready to move back here to Missouri, but not in the way that I did 2 years ago, but in a I'm gonna give up fail way. Because I just like I wasn't making any money. And it was just, I just had a baby. So I was like, now we have another expense. And it was a lot. And then I finally got a part-time job and I was like, okay, cool. This is enough to get expenses. And then I lost that job the day before I got the audition for that $4,500 job. Yeah, it was the day before I lost it. And I had an audition. They fired me and I had to go to another audition. And I'm like crying all the way to LA because I live in Orange County. And I'm like, good thing there's traffic so I can cry and then put my makeup on and then go be funny because it's an improv audition. And then like, it was for like an improv like show benefit thing and I paid and I didn't get it.
It's like, okay, you're really happy because you just ate pancakes. I just got fired from IHOP.
And then the next day I got like a last minute audition for that. And I looked at it. I was like, oh, this is perfect casting for me. It was like one of those, I was like, that is a very good role for me.
Yeah.
I was like, yep, I'm there. I went there. It was the same day audition. And then I got the call back. I think it was just a couple days later. It was one of those that did move pretty fast because sometimes in LA, it's like you're getting yes a month later. And you're like, what,
Or you get a nothing a month.
Yeah.
Did I ever hear back from that audition? No, that was 2 months ago. I probably didn't get it. Then you like see it on television, like, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get that one.
It was like, I always tell myself I have one day to get excited about a role in an audition. If I don't hear back the next day, I forget about it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so it could be a day, a month, a year.
Oh my gosh. What was that? I might be too jaded because the second I submit it, I forget that I've even done it.
You're like, I'm over.
I've gotten like callbacks of stuff, and they'll be like, "You got a callback for the I'm like, what? When was it? I have to like go into my email and be like, oh, right, that thing. That
Was that 3 p.m. today?
That was 3 days ago. Okay, yeah, I remember. I did whatever. What was I wearing? Let's see.
I give myself a whole day of hope. So maybe
No, that's
give
good.
yourself
That's
a day
good.
of hope.
Okay, day of hope.
One day of hope. In our St. Mary Christian, I don't know Catholic candles. That's what
No.
I'm thinking. A Catholic candle. One day
No, you know Mormon.
Yeah.
Stick with what you know.
Stick
You
with
know the
Mormon
Mormon
jokes.
jokes and the getting the planet.
Yeah, I guess.
Getting the planet jokes.
But yeah, I'm like, I just don't want to gloss over that it was just like, oh, easy pancakes along the way. Like, clearly from the start, it was 2013 when I started entertainment as a career, and now it is 2024, 11 years later. Like, it's a struggle, guys.
The struggle's real.
Struggle real. But yeah, along the way, 2019, I think the fun thing was I quit my office job. So that was
Wait, because I heard you got fired, then you got the commercial, so
Yeah.
then you got another job.
Yeah, so shortly after, so I got the commercial that kept me for a while because $4,500 was like 4 months for me. My standards.
You were living cheap in LA.
My standards were low. Yeah.
$4,500 like 2 weeks for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well,
LA.
do you want to know how much my rent was?
How much was your rent?
We lived in Brea, California, which is a beautiful, nice little place, and it was like walking distance to Target, Sprouts, and the mall. We paid $1,000 a month for a one bed, one bath, and then we moved up to a 2-bed, 1 bath, and it was $1,350. Until the day we moved, it was very hard to move because I know we won't be able to move back. It'll be double.
Oh yeah,
because the owners were just nice and they never like upped it. And I know in California you can only up so much at a time, but like as soon as people are moving out, they were selling our apartment for $2,200.
Oh, I bet
It's nuts. But yeah, lived very cheap. So that $4,500 lasted for a while, and then I got because I always took like little temp work or part-time work or whatever, and I found this part-time job with Visit Anaheim, so the city of Anaheim, and it was part-time, and I was like, oh, okay, I can do that, like a couple days a week, not big deal. And I go in, and then it turned into a full-time position, and I was like, well, if I do full-time, I know it's going to take away from everything else, but I will have money to fund all of these like little videos and parodies I do. So what shall I do? I was like also doing Instacart at the same time. And so I was like, and I'm making almost the same money doing Instacart, but Instacart's freedom, but like also it's not stable. What should I do? And I ended up taking the job. I talked them down to only having me work 4 days a week instead of 5. And I'm very smart. It wasn't an easy job. I'm just very smart.
they're very smart.
I'm very intelligent.
I'm one of the smartest people that I know.
I don't want people to know this, but I'm
not just a dancer.
brilliant.
Not only can I dance with my body, but my mind can dance circles around equations and complex problems.
I took an IQ test on the internet.
I took an IQ test and it said, you have broken us. We cannot even respond with a number because we cannot calculate the extent of the IQ that has just answered these questions. I took a personality test and the results came back negative.
I thought you were going to compare yourself to a Disney princess
Oh, yeah.
or something.
Why a Disney princess? Where did that come from?
It's a flip. I don't know.
I took a personality test and the results came back Cinderella. Because I'm always forgetting my shoes.
Because I always have mice in my apartment. I like to clean other people's shoes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's try to stay on track here. Brainiac. Yeah, that is a good bit.
Okay.
So you have the job, you're
Yeah.
working wait, so did you end up working full time?
Yeah, it's 4 days a week, so it was full time. But like, part of the reason I took the job is because like I could tell I was overqualified for it, but they knew because they asked in the interview like what my 5-year goal was, and I was kind of hesitant because nobody ever wants to say they're an actor or comedian or whatever.
Right, especially not in LA.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, you're flaky. But they kind of kept pressing, and I could tell that they thought like I was just like a 28-year-old with no 5-year plan. And I go, okay, I'm just going to be honest. I make YouTube videos, and like my goal is, and I kept it to that because I feel like it's a lot easier for people not in the entertainment industry to like grab the concept of just doing YouTube videos or being a stand-up. And I'm like, I do stand-up comedy and I make YouTube videos. And like my 5-year goal is that I'm doing something with that. And shit, another light bulb moment. 5 years, because I took that job in 2018. And so 2023.
We are at 6 years. So you missed your 5-year goal.
I'm beyond it, man.
You can quit now.
I know.
Like, I only projected out 5 years. I don't know what to do in year 6.
That's why it's so hard.
Maybe I'll get into construction.
It's going to get wild.
Yeah, I've always wanted to be an architect.
Just building shit.
Yeah. I don't even want to build it. I just want to draw it. You build it.
You spell that and
I'll draw it. You build that. I don't want to like hammer stuff. I just want to write it down on a piece of paper. So that's very cool. So so we didn't really talk about how you started doing the YouTube videos. So you started doing stand-up, but then you also started getting into YouTubing, sketches, all of this stuff.
I've done that since YouTube existed, but like not seriously. That was always my regret. And that's why I attacked TikTok when TikTok came out in 2019. Because when YouTube came out, somebody told me I did like a medley of music and it was a workout thing and it was a lip sync and I did it, whatever. And they're like, you should put that on YouTube. And I go, what's YouTube? They didn't know.
I want to put it on MeTube.
It's 2008. So I put it up. And in 2008, I got 16,000 views.
Wow.
That was a lot back then. That's a lot of real estate. Like, yeah. And I made like a couple other videos. Like I did a Britney medley and I think that one got like 6,000 or 8,000, like a little less, but a little. And then I did one that was, I privated it because it was Ding Fries Are Done, but it was to Peter. It was lip syncing. Remember Peter from Family Guy?
Oh, okay.
La, 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 la. You know, he does that bit and it was very funny at the time. It was 2008 and I like lip synced that and I can do like crazy eyes and stuff. It was always something, but like looking at it now, like later on, I was like, I could see that somebody might take offense to this. So I'm just going to take it down without anybody telling me to. I don't care if it's funny or not. I just could see how it could be hurtful to somebody, even though I wasn't being hurtful with it. So that's also a lesson to some assholes who are too prideful to take down their stupid shit that's not that good. Anyway, I hope we can cuss on this.
I never take down any of my shit. I have a whole video where I insult every race, gender, sexual orientation. I have been flagged on every. I have been canceled, but I will not take it down. By the way, that's a joke. I don't have that, other than just my general offensive nature.
Now that's the thing. I'm like, if you're a comic who's choosing to be offensive, like that's your thing. Like you don't care. But if you're somebody who's like, oh, I can get like when I was 18, that's probably not appropriate because I'm 18. I haven't lived. I haven't met people. I don't know. And then you grow up and you're like, oh, whatever. So I do feel bad for kids these days because they're putting all that stuff out there. But anyway, so YouTube came around. I posted some stuff and I did like some views, but I never kept consistent. I would always like want to. And then I would make videos and there was so much that I never posted just because I was just like, I don't know if I want to post this. It was weird that like thinking about that, there was that hesitation even back then.
Were you like Brahms where you would complete a work and then not like it so you'd burn it?
Yeah. Well,
You're comparing yourself to Brahms.
I don't know who Brahms is.
Oh, okay.
I'm not that smart.
Yeah. I'm more intelligent. That's more fact-based, which is actually not intelligent.
It's more pop culture stuff, like
Brahms
just
random
one of the most
memorization. Famous classical composers ever. He's like a Mozart or a Beethoven.
Okay, Brahms. What are you talking about?
Johannes Brahms? No,
Johannes. No, that's Johannes.
Brahms. That's Bach.
Yeah,
I know his last name.
Wait, I thought he was Johannes Mozart.
No, it's Wolfgang Amadeus.
Oh, that's right.
Mozart.
I remember this only from Little Einsteins because they do music a lot.
Frédéric Chopin.
Other than that, I do not know classical music.
Okay, we can move on.
Anyway.
We can move on for my comparison.
But so YouTube, I wanted to. It was like, but I said no. And I never really I just denied myself before I even tried.
Yeah.
And then I remember when Vine came out and I was like,
oh, Vine.
I was like, anybody can be funny for 6 seconds. That's stupid. Those were my exact words about Vine. I could have been famous already. That's the point. Anybody can be funny for 6 seconds. So why don't you just put yourself out there and be funny? And then Facebook had always been out, so I didn't use Facebook for that purpose. Instagram, I started to use Instagram for that social media purpose to like try and grow, because people were growing on Instagram. But by the time I was trying to do it, it was already oversaturated and reels weren't out yet. And this whole time, I kept posting random things to YouTube. It was never consistent. It was just, I like to make parodies, and I would make these elaborate music videos, as elaborate as I could make them.
Yeah.
And like when I had my first daughter, because I knew I would be out of like acting class and stuff, I committed myself a week before giving birth that I would put up an episode on YouTube every single week. And I edited a video while in active labor at the hospital and then posted it the day she was born. And that's how you become successful.
I bow to you. My sacrifice is not worthy. I'm like, there was this one time I edited a video until 4 a.m. And you're like, yeah, I gave birth.
She was crowning. I
Like-
was just like, hold on, just one
like,
more edit. one
breathe.
more.
Transition. Tighten up the music. Sound effect. Sound effect.
And-
Color correction.
And it's so funny because, like, so I named my daughter Stacy because I indeed have it going on.
Uh-huh.
That name was agreed on while me and my husband were dating. I made a suggestion, and he was like, "Yeah, I like it."
Uh-huh.
Kind of like just put it out there, and he was like, "Yeah, definitely, I get it. I see it." I was like, "God, this is why I'm marrying you." And I was at that point also trying to get like some kind of internet, like trying to just do something, create something, because I knew I had something to create. So how on earth could I get it? Because I wasn't getting acting jobs. So like, how can I get something, you know? So I started creating more on the internet, I guess, at that time, because when I went to the hospital to give birth, I did do the Running Man challenge, which was popular at that point. And I did it in my hospital ground. And I was like, this will for sure go viral. It did not go viral.
But you did contract some viruses while you were running around a hospital pregnant while your immune system is compromised.
Yeah. Everyone, well, so I've reposted that video later after having more followers, and now it has gone viral.
Of course.
Many times.
Right.
And people are always like, "You're not wearing any shoes." And so when I gave birth to my second daughter, I made sure that I kept my shoes on in the video.
Right.
Even though I could have used that algorithm
You
boost.
caved, Elizabeth.
I didn't
You
need it.
caved to your viewers. You let them tell you who you are. You'd be like, no, I do not wear shoes in hospitals. That's my thing.
They wiped my feet when I got into the bed. Actually, I took a shower. Like, you know,
Right.
I had a shower in suite, okay? I took a shower and I went into the bed.
She's giving birth in luxury here. She had her own shower in her room.
It was Orange County.
And breath mints on the pillow for when you're giving birth.
I brought a bowl of $100,000 for the nurses and said, "You guys are worth $100,000."
Oh, precious.
I love giving gifts.
Oh. Which I do agree. I had an amazing gift basket waiting for me in my hotel room, which was compliments of Elisabeth Wykert here, which was amazing. So you're giving birth, you're making YouTube videos, you're in LA.
Yeah,
Let's
trying it all.
Yeah.
I'm throwing my hat in every possible way I can fathom that my art will take me.
Yeah.
And there's still now times that I see somebody using their art in a way that I could probably use mine that way as well. And I think about it, I'm like, oh, I should do that. And then I'm like, no, because that's not my thing. Like, I
Right.
can, and I get it, and I appreciate that humor, but that's not my thing. It's okay if it is, like, because there are some things that's inspiring. You're like, oh, yeah, I should definitely go do that. It's a different feeling. But, like, at that point, I was literally just tossing it into every which way. And that's why whenever TikTok happened, I knew it was going to be something. And I was like, finally, a new social media I'm getting on the ground floor, because the whole point, if you can get in early,
Yeah.
you can still make it even now. But, like, if you get in there early, you get the edge just because you're the person on there creating content. But like I was telling you earlier, I was doing 3 posts a day, every single day, 7 days a week, for 6 months before I went viral. Up until that point, I had some videos, like some that did really well, like for me at the time, like maybe a video that got 10,000. But most of them were around like 400 views, which is still like, for me, I was like, I always imagined, like, what if 400 people were in a room listening to me?
Right.
That's fan-freaking-tastic. Like, I will take that any day. So I don't care if a video gets 50 views or 50 million views. Like, to me, that's just like incredible that people want to hear me. But like for a solid 6 months, I just was cranking them out. And some videos, yeah, they'd get 10, 20,000 views. But I don't think I ever got something over 100,000 views until February 2020 when I put on the gold leotard. That one got 400,000. But if I'm like, don't exactly quote me because I'm not that obsessed with my numbers, but I was paying attention to them because I was purposely trying to grow, and I was learning, and I was watching, and I was just digesting TikTok. And through all of this, I quit my full-time job. So I stayed at Visit Anaheim and go back to what I always wanted, the corporate job where you were loved and respected in an office that was primarily women, 80% women, for the best place in the planet. It was Anaheim. Like, Disneyland was a freaking partner. Like, I got to go to an event for work. Jason Derulo was putting on a private concert for like 100 people. He was right here next to my face. Jason Derulo. I got to.
Do you have the same feeling being close to him as you do being this close to me, though? Because you're also this close. Why are you laughing? I don't understand why you're laughing so hard right now.
I almost lied, but I just couldn't.
Don't worry. Your laughter said everything. I also took a communications class, and I picked up on all the nonverbal cues, and there was nothing about oral participation, advanced oral satisfaction, or whatever that class was called, about that reaction. So I do not hold the same value in Elisabeth's eyes as Jason Derulo.
No offense. I was screaming like a 12-year-old girl. It was so wonderful.
Okay.
His abs were just in my face. It was beautiful. And like, I got to go to Disneyland for the same thing. It was like a work event. They closed Disneyland. There was only 4,000 people. It was just a section of Disneyland all the way to Star Wars. So for like Tomorrowland and like in the Wild Wild West area, Frontierland, and over to Star Wars. 4,000 people in that section is like nothing.
Yeah.
And it was lined with free food for everybody to try because it was a huge tourism event. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this. And then I was quitting, like, and they knew I was quitting and I was leaving and they still let me go. Like, that's how great that company was.
Yeah.
And I love them for that reason because I was like, I could not be satisfied with something that is checking literally every single box I could ever want in something corporate. Then it's never going to work.
Right.
Like, I have to do something in the arts and entertainment, whatever the capacity that is. And so at that point, I'd already put in my notice and I said I'd wait until they hired somebody so I could help train them, but I would work from home and it was like a whole thing. But and then after that, the day that was supposed to be my last day, I had an audition. And so I had to like postpone my last day because they were taking me out to lunch and everything. And went on this audition. I ended up getting it. I was the body double for Patti LaBelle. Yes, this is a body of a 70-year-old Black woman. Thank you. Icon.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that until later. It was for The Masked Singer. So whenever they do like the promo stuff, they need a body double because they're not paying those people, the celebrities to do all these like little weird things in the suit.
In the costume. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was her body double. And then because of that, I got invited to the rap party. And I'm like doing karaoke with Ken Jeong. And I'm like, what is happening to my life right now? And it was like literally a week after I left my job. And I was like, this must be a sign.
Yeah.
I'm making good choices. And it hasn't been easy. That was 2019. And it's been 4 years. Yeah, it's 4.5. It's been 4.5 years since then. And there's been a lot of ups. And there's been a lot of downs. And sometimes it's really hard. Like last year, it was just like the last end of the tail end of 2023. It was hard to see the ups, even though I knew there were so many. It was just hard to see them because sometimes you have those moments. But it's like, I feel like every time I kind of have those big commitments where I'm just like, okay, I need to drop this thing that's safe and then go over here. I get rewarded in some facet of you're doing the right thing. You're in the right spot.
Yeah.
Just keep going. Just keep trying. You got this. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of the story. Oh, but in those 4 years, so I quit the job and then TikTok started. It was about the exact same time.
Yeah.
And I started doing TikTok and I just kept doing that. And then one day I put on a leotard and that ended up taking over all my content. I did so much different. I would riff and do jokes. Some people did like my day in the life or like my riffs and takes on life. Like they would do decent. They weren't as good as the leotard, but they would do like okay. And so I was like, oh, well, people like hearing me talk.
Yeah.
But after a while, it's just really fun to do the leotard stuff. And especially because it was during the pandemic and then just getting to like go outside, especially as an entertainer, because we didn't get to go on stage. Like,
Right. Yeah.
People don't understand how hard it was for us, especially if you're an extrovert, if you're an entertainer and your whole job is just getting reactions from people.
Right.
And you can't even be around anybody. I got to go outside and do this and have my husband film me, and I could watch the cars and the people just like, like this, the face of just like confused or the face like laughing or the honking or and I would, a lot of times I would always go, another day doing the Lord's work. That was always my catchphrase. Doing the Lord's work.
Yep,
Here we go. I don't say it anymore because I feel like people are like, oh, she's preachy. But I'm like, that's what I used to say.
Right.
I'm like, I'm either going to come off that I'm super religious or I'm anti-religious. So I don't say that anymore. But that used to be my thing. Just another day doing the Lord's work.
Yeah.
Dancing the leotard and getting it crazy. That was my way of performing.
And that's what Jesus did.
Yeah,
Just put on that leotard. As out there multiplying fishes.
Busting it. You know,
Blessed are those who gyrate.
Blessed be the fruit. I don't mind lightning strikes. They'll happen one day. I don't care.
So that's amazing. So let's pull back a little bit. I would love to just, so again, I'm all about dreaming. It just fascinates me. People have dreams who go for them, all of those ups and downs that you talk about, the struggles. So let's dive into some like philosophy. What is your personal philosophy, beliefs, feelings around going for dreams, going for big things? Just what instinctively comes to mind with that?
Well, right now I am working on just being happy. Primarily, I am pretty happy, and I put that out there. Like, yeah. I'm very happy, and I always say that.
You always love it when you need to tell people, I want to remind you, I actually am very happy.
Well, it's true because, like, I mean, very sadly, you see people like Twitch who are just puts out so much positivity, and then their life is over.
Yeah,
and it hurts me to know that there's people in pain. And so I always say, and I'm not in that like kind of dark vein, or just like, you know, I have so much in my cup. It's, you know, my cup runneth over.
I am benevolent unto all of those who need to sip from my surplus. Come, place your tongue upon the rim of mine cup.
Come suckle from my bosom of happiness. I will feed the generations to come.
Use your oral preparation to suckle upon.
To suckle upon my communications of
I shall give you drips as my cup that overfloweth.
I can't summon.
And you're like, now I need a drink of water. Now I actually need to suckle from the cup.
Yeah, that was getting me thirsty.
I think that's, we're joking about it, but I really found that as well, that if I can't be happy right now, no amount of success, no amount of fame, no amount of money, no amount of anything else will increase happiness if I can't learn to be absolutely grateful with everything that I have right now, everything that I don't have, the relationships as they exist right now, my level of income. And so, and I do find that actually does help me as I pursue my dreams to actually be pursuing them from a place of happiness and joy, as opposed to a place of, I hate my life. Life is the worst. I'm so sad. I don't have enough. Everybody's screwing me over. Resentment, blah, 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 blah. Let's go get some dreams so that I can finally find some happiness elsewhere. You know, it's the whole wherever you.
Yeah, grass is always greener.
Yeah, it's like wherever you go, there you are. You know, and so I think about that a lot. I'm like, I have big dreams. There's things that I desire that I think would be great experiences to realize in my lifetime. But then I also go, but let's not, start thinking that that's where the happiness is.
Yeah. And I think that's where I spent so much time reading self-help books.
Oh, me too.
And getting that. And they were very helpful. For myself.
Wait, the self-help books were helpful?
They were helpful. I remember the first time.
Like, wait a minute, I'm getting help from this. I'm supposed to be getting it from myself.
First time I came across the self-help section at Barnes & Noble, I think I was like 18, and it says self-help section. And I go, why do you need to help yourself? Like, what are you helping yourself doing? And I was so confused. Yeah. This just pimpy little 18-year-old. no real life problem. I mean, I had life problems, but I didn't see them. I was using my mask 24/7. But like, that helped a lot in a lot of transformation. I feel like, we're always just transforming as who we are and whatever stage. And, be kind to that other person. Like the people who I was that person when you're diving in all these self-help and you're elevating and you're like, yes, I can believe in anything. Yes, I should manifest all these things. And it is working to a degree, but it's not like I still don't have $1 million. And I've been saying that for like 4 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire.
Yeah.
But I keep saying it. It still hasn't manifested. It's supposed to happen faster than that.
Yeah.
But like, I think over the years, I'm now in this transitional thing of realizing that I'm not giving up on my dream. And I don't think of it as a dream. I think of there's things like you just said, there's things you want to do. That'd be like, oh, that'd be a cool experience. But also, you can't experience every single thing in life. It's impossible. There's too many things. We don't have enough time to experience every single thing. I do hope, I always have hope for the most part, most days, that those things probably will come. And sure, I'd love for them to come faster.
Sure.
But if they don't, they don't. And if they never come, my focus just right now is just like finding the happiness. And I think more so recognizing the success I am having. Because I think part of my kind of recognizing more downs is that I just see the downs and then I forgot how much I've done just in the past year. And I have to look at it. I have a big calendar that's a year at a glance calendar. And I write things and I write my numbers at the beginning of the year and the end of the year. And it wasn't until I wrote my numbers at the end of the year and I saw how much my channels grew. And I was like, holy shit, I am amazing.
I am the greatest.
I create life.
I now need a bowl for my water.
I need 2 planets.
I can create life. My cup is running over. And now I need a 2-liter.
Give it to me.
Well, like I'm trying right now to focus on that part. And the dreams, I hate the word dream.
Oh, well, that's what
I know.
that's what my whole podcast is about. She's like, actually, I hate the entire premise of your whole little podcast here. I find offensive. I'm still not deleting the video, even though you find it offensive.
Nice callback.
I'm still going to keep it up.
No, it's just like the transition I am in. Again,
Yeah.
all about transitions of like where I'm in right now of dream. It's just how society like puts on dreams. Oh, you're a dreamer. Oh, because it's like a dream is something that doesn't happen.
Right.
And I don't like that connotation with society where like if I have this dream and I say like, oh, I have this dream, like I want to be the star of my own sitcom. I want to be in a Marvel movie. That is something I used to not want to do. And people kept saying, I'm real life Wonder Woman. And I thought they were joking over and over. And then I realized people are not joking when they said that. And I know Hollywood probably would never cast me looking like this, even though I could do all the effing stunts like any other 110-pound woman.
Do you hear that, Hollywood? We are calling you out. I think Gal Gadot's had her day in the sun.
Exactly.
It is now time for a new sunflower. And her name is Elisabeth Wykert.
Could you imagine a funny Wonder Woman? Like Wonder Woman is a comedy instead of all serious.
What's the deal with all these criminals? I need to whip you into shape.
No, and it's anyway. But it's like, yeah, I have those things, but I'm also satisfied if that never happens. But I would also be extremely satisfied if it did.
Yeah.
I'm not ever letting go of it, and I think it's finding that happy medium after listening to so many effing self-help books where they're like, no, you can't have that medium. You have to either think that thing's going to happen or it's not happening.
If you have any self-doubt, then you will end up... You must burn your ships like the Vikings, and then you must conquer all villages.
I'm like, well, what if I don't want to conquer villages? What if I kind of want to get back on my ship just in case I decide I don't want to be in this village anymore plundering?
You're like, I want to make it out alive. Is that too much? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I mean, my standards are low. You keep telling me to have higher standards, but I can't.
Right. Well, and that's an interesting concept because, I think there is sort of an evolution of, there's like, I got to go out and achieve go for these goals. And I do think there's a little bit of like, there's almost a sense of lack there. Like, if I don't do this, my life is empty. So I need to go accomplish. And until I have the New York bestseller, the condo in Maui, the Porsche, the blah, blah, blah. I was like, once I have all of those things, and guess what? That big hole in my heart is gonna, then my cup will runneth o'er. And then it's like, oh, well, maybe not. And so I totally agree with that. And it's funny that you mentioned the dreams, because it is a problematic term. It's a weird term because it actually, there is a definition for what dreams are.
Definition.
Well, like when you sleep, it's like what your imagination does when you're asleep, right?
You're going to be Merriam-Webster on me since this is your podcast title, so you probably do verbatim what it was.
I think I've been called out on my own podcast more by you.
Yeah, give me permission to be so terrible.
This isn't supposed to be that type of podcast. So what are you really up to? Who the hell do you think you are in your little dreams podcast, Paul? Do you even know the definition of dreams? Actually, no, I don't. I was kind of just going with the colloquial understanding as well. Just more of a general understanding, not so much.
Like a theme in the podcast where you're like, and dreams are. Today's letter is D for dreams. Merriam-Webster states.
Merriam-Webster. That's like the start of every Mormon talk. Hello, brothers and sisters. I have been assigned to talk about dreams.
I didn't
Webster's
want to be here
Dictionary.
today.
I didn't want to be here today. I was trying to avoid the bishop, but he caught me in the hallway, and here I am.
Aw.
Anyway, Merriam defines a dream as a imaginative state that occurs while sleeping.
Yeah?
I made that up. I made that up. If you didn't actually know the definition, though, you'd be like, yeah, that sounds about the definition.
Sounds like the know-it-all game for improv.
Yeah, there you
You
go.
have to be
Mr.
Mr.
Know-it-all.
Know-it-all.
But, I mean, we actually think what a dream actually is. It's like this thing that happens when we sleep, and some are nightmares and some are weird and stuff. And it's interesting that we then also use that as achieving some sort of fantasy almost. You know what I mean? Like,
I like talking to you because I keep having these light bulbs. Because now I'm thinking about dreams. Dreams are actually, because at first I was thinking it was an illusion, but dreams, if you go off of people who study dreams, is a communication between the subconscious and the conscious. So if it's a Dreamers podcast, it's you achieving what your subconscious already knows you should have.
and then if you study self-help, then you need to program your subconscious to believe.
And then to burn your ships. And you must plunder every village or die trying.
You're so many times where I'm like, you read the stories and they're like, I was about to give up,
Right.
and then I made it, and I was like, I've given up so many times.
Have you ever tried to force that and be like, I'm giving up.
Yes, all the time. I did it.
That's enough for me.
I did it.
Nope, I'm going to move back to Missouri. Giving up on my dreams, Hollywood.
Man, I really thought that was it, dude.
I'm
I was like,
getting-
I even got the commercial. I was like, this is it. It's finally happening. No,
I'm getting in my car.
go back to corporate life.
Yeah. I'm about to take that job. I could sure use that role right now. But yours are right. Like, just off the top of my heart, I'm thinking of Steve Harvey and Jim Halpert, John Krasinski.
Yeah.
Both of them, like, Steve Harvey was literally like driving back to wherever his hometown was and then gets a call like, hey, can you come host at the Apollo tonight? So instead of going home, he drives to New York. And then and then same with John Krasinski. It was like, well, I was in New York 2 years. I was like,
Yeah,
only
he was there
two whole years. Was that any hard? Sorry, I'm not resentful at all. And then it was like, he's almost done. And then, he gets the office, like that sort of stuff.
He doesn't deserve it, John Krasinski.
Yeah,
I don't
you
care
didn't-
about your ass.
You didn't put in the work.
You were going to give up after 2 years. This isn't your real dream.
Yeah.
Emily Blunt was his dream. That
Yeah,
was the
that's-
real bait and catch.
Yeah, and you're not getting her either.
Isn't that his wife?
You son of a bitch.
I was like, I named the right pop culture.
No, you did. You did. You did. That was the joke.
Okay.
Because it does have her. Do you get it now? Maybe I should give up on my dreams. I'm not funny at all.
I'm really excited to have Paul in my stand-up show tomorrow.
Maybe my subconscious is trying to tell me, don't do jokes and don't do podcasts about dreams because you can't even define them. So, well, that is amazing. I think that's good. That's good. So how about this? How about a little wrap-up word of inspiration for everybody out there who's going for whatever word they choose to define happiness and joy? We don't have to use the word dream since we don't actually know how to define it. And yeah, just a little closeout word of advice to all of the peeps out there from the one and only Elisabeth Wykert. Put you on the spot.
That's a lot of pressure.
Can you handle it? Or are you gonna buckle, Wonder Woman? We can only do 8 seconds because I can't afford the copyright on.
I do such good impressions in my parodies that I get copyright flagged because I really work hard to impersonate the singer. And I'm not that good.
Come on.
But apparently AI thinks I am. Anyway, words of inspiration, yeah. You just gotta find the happiness right now. You gotta look around. So many times I would look around my small apartment in California and I would just be so grateful. It was nothing special. It was like 1,000 square feet, if that. And I'd look around and I'd just see everything. And I'm just like, man, this is a lovely little house with walls. The ceiling isn't caving in. If you guys didn't hear me earlier, I grew up poor. And the ceiling wasn't popping down. And I just had nice things, even if they weren't the nicest. Other people probably, had much more lavish things than I did, or had mom and dad paying for their freaking LA apartment.
Sounds a little bit of resentment there.
It's okay.
Must be nice, John Krasinski.
John Krasinski.
We're just gonna hate on him.
I'm gonna have beef with him before knowing him. I love it. But yeah, just take a second and stop and look around and just be grateful. Whenever you're feeling happy or sad, just name some things you're grateful for. And I think that's the only way that you can really get through life as a whole and whatever you're going.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. If you happen to be in St. Joseph, Missouri, we are performing. It will be tonight. From when I air this, we're filming it the night before, but I will be releasing it in the morning. So if you're in Missouri, you can come out. Do you want to give a little shout out to your social media handles about the show? Any plugs, and then we'll wrap it up.
At Elisabeth Wykert on all social media. It's Elisabeth with an S. Wykert. So hard to spell, but I'm the only one. I'm at the point where if you just spell Elizabeth with an S, I pop up.
Oh my God. She is the only Elizabeth with an S on social media.
Oh, there's Elizabeth Moss.
Oh.
That's Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, forget her.
Oh, Fred, get out of here.
Yeah, she's not happy.
Oh.
She's not grateful for her 1,000-foot apartment.
I won't mention that.
So anyway, you are the one and only Elisabeth Wykert. Forget Elizabeth Moss. All right, you are the one and only. And thank you so much for coming on to the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast. Looking forward to the show tonight. I appreciate you so much. You're so great. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope your dreams are going well out there. You're finding happiness in the moment, in the journey. And I will definitely be checking in with you tomorrow. And thank you again. Love you all so much for listening. And we'll talk to you soon.